Hello, welcome to From God's Heart to Mine. Thanks for joining me as we aim to draw nearer to God every day. Proverbs 1 and verse 7 says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." I was asked recently where to begin for someone who has never read the Bible and isn't really familiar with what it says at all. Where do you start? Do you start back in Genesis? Do you start with the Psalms or the Proverbs? Do you start in the gospel accounts with the story of Jesus or maybe one of the easier letters of Paul? Proverbs 1 and verse 7 reminds us where knowledge and learning truly begins. It begins with the fear of the Lord. You see, it really doesn't matter where you start reading the Bible if you do not approach God's Word with the right attitude toward its author. If you approach God's Word with a mindset that its author is terrible and doesn't exist anyway and is genocidal, is a monster, and then that's the perception with which you're going to read it. And I don't know if I could pick up anyone's book having that kind of view of the author and come away with a positive impression. What Proverbs 1 verse 7 teaches us is that we have to have the right level of respect for who the Creator is before we can really appreciate His book. Before we can really begin to learn from God, we must have the right attitude toward God. If we are not teachable, if we are not open to instruction, if we're the fool that Proverbs 1:7 talks about, who looks at wisdom and instruction and says, "No, I hate that. I want nothing to do with that. It doesn't matter where we start reading the Bible. We'll never learn." But instead, if we approach God's Word with the right attitude toward God, we'll find that we can learn a lot. Thanks for listening to From God's Heart to Mine. Open your heart today to pursue God's heart and try to show His heart to others.